turning now to a Clare mother who's completed a 3-day fundraising cycle over the weekend in support of Clare Crusaders. Sue Corcoran took on the 3-day challenge over the weekend, raising funds for the charity that has supported her son Conor since he was just 8 weeks old. The cycle was undertaken as a way of giving back to Clare Crusaders, whose therapy services and summer camps have played a major role in Conor's development over the years. And delighted to have Sue Corcoran in studio. Sue, a very good morning to you. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Alan. Thank you very much for having me in.
First of all, congratulations on the cycle. To talk to Paul Murphy there before the break, any significant cycle is a big undertaking. Before we get to that, though, can you tell us a little bit more about Conor?
Sure, yeah. Conor just turned 17 there at the beginning of the month. He's in school in St Gabriel's in Limerick. He's a very, very happy guy, but I suppose he does need a lot of help and support every day, and will continue to need that, I suppose, once he finishes school and begins to enter that lifespan of adult services. So we're, I suppose, currently looking into that as a family and trying to assess what might be best for him, which is very tricky. I know it's not what we're here this morning to talk about, but new chapter for us going forward. So I suppose this opportunity of doing the cycle for Clare Crusaders was nice timing for me, because I suppose we're coming to an end with the Clare Crusaders in the next kind of year or so, and they've just been an incredible support to our family and to Conor.
And maybe tell us a little bit more about that, Sue, because Conor was born with Down syndrome and a rare form of severe epilepsy. How soon, how early on does Clare Crusaders become a part of your lives, and how important was that support, particularly during those early years?
Sure. So I suppose, it was a shock to us when Conor was born with Down syndrome. We had no idea until he arrived. It was a normal pregnancy. So I suppose I had no idea of additional needs, really, like many people, I suppose, not really on my radar, and certainly would never have heard of the Clare Crusaders prior to that. And we were just very fortunate that a friend of ours at the time was doing the cycle, doing the tour, doing fundraising, and he mentioned it to Anne Norton, and Anne Norton very kindly reached out to us at the time, which was a huge lifeline, because I suppose you're leaving the hospital with very little support and not really knowing where to go to. And
that's lovely, isn't it? That, as you say, your head be all over the place. Not knowing about Clare Crusaders, or not knowing where to turn, but to have them reach out to you is fabulous.
Yeah, and Anne Norton, I suppose, has been an exceptional, in her pursuit of advocating for people and children with special needs in the county, and for what she does with the clinic. And she has been, I suppose, a constant support in the background. Anytime you might never ever need advice, she's somebody you can kind of pick up the phone and sound out. So very grateful for that support, and we're very lucky, to have that on our doorstep in Clare, because it's the Clare Crusaders is an extremely unique charity.
Yeah, and we've spoken to Anne quite often, and Clare Crusaders, and gotten a sense of the integral part they play in the community, particularly for families such as your own. But maybe I've never delved too much into exactly how they help. I mean, what kinds of therapies and services has Conor benefited from over the years? We'll get on to the summer camps a little later on, because I know he enjoys those.
Yeah, he absolutely loves them, and I suppose that's more current for us, because in the last few years that's what Conor has been kind of availing of in terms of the Clare Crusaders facilities. Early on it would have been very much therapy and early intervention, and I suppose again that would have all been very new to us. So like at 8 weeks, we were linked in with the Clare Crusaders physio at the time, a really lovely South African lady, Annelle, and would have put in a programme in place, and I suppose very daunting for us, given that Conor was a baby, and first child born, just very vulnerable, and so it was great to get that support from physio in terms of helping Conor to begin to do normal developmental things that most families would take for granted with their children, things like rolling, things like sitting up. So a lot of those things took a long time, and for Conor, he didn't start walking until he was about 7. We actually thought he wasn't going to walk, and I suppose we were preparing for that kind of world of dealing with a child who'd be in a full-time wheelchair. But thankfully he did get up and walking with a lot of physio intervention by the age of 7, which was fantastic.
And that's an example of the incredible effect or transformation the support of Clare Crusaders can have. And well, they're clearly doing and have done and continue to do a lot for Conor. It isn't just about the children, is it? I mean, it's they support the families themselves too.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a community there, I suppose, naturally of parents, and with the camps, I suppose you get a chance to meet them more so than on the day-to-day in the clinic, because people are just busy, in and out. And I suppose for us, we would have been in the clinic sessions with Conor, so you're not kind of hanging around. So that drop-off, in the mornings and the evenings is really nice, just to meet other parents. And I suppose over the years you get to know them, and it is a community where I suppose we learn a lot from each other. Each child is very, very unique and different in their own needs, so I suppose you're trying to negotiate that all the time. So the support is huge on that front. And then on the other side of it, I suppose the camp offers us as a family and all other families kind of respite, if you like, because like all children since I suppose COVID now get with additional needs and a diagnosis get July provision. Some schools run that, and we're fortunate enough in our school that they run that, but it is only 2 weeks. So we get to go to the camp then for a further 2 weeks. So Conor's doing something for the whole of July, and then he's off for August, which is a very long month, because there isn't a lot of activities that we can do as a family. We're limited in what we can do. There's very little changing places around. There's very little facilities that would suit our needs as a family. So then you end up being at home for a lot of the time, and I suppose that's difficult for all of us and challenging for all of us, and for Conor. Cabin fever, yeah. And I know lots of families obviously suffer from that during the long holiday period. All parents would be identifying with what I'm saying here, but I suppose when you have a child with additional needs, that is definitely more trying and more taxing.
Over the years, as a parent, what has it meant to see the confidence, the enjoyment and the progress that Conor has gained through his experiences with Clare Crusaders, summer camps and everything else that they've done for him, and him being able to progress, as you say, starting walking at 7 and all of that? For you as parents to stand back and see him progress must be fantastic.
Fantastic, and we're always asking, the team at the Clare Crusaders, will there be an Easter camp sometime? We see a massive jump in Conor's kind of progression when he's there for 2 weeks. And 2 weeks mightn't sound like a lot of time in some regards, but it's a very different environment for him. We probably mind him a little bit too much at home, and then in school, obviously it's a school setting and they've got their routine, and the Clare Crusaders, they have a really nice model where they have teenagers kind of very much involved at the forefront with all the children, and that engagement seems to really bring something out in the children. And I know Conor absolutely adores he's adored all of, let's say, the teenagers who've been with him over the number of years, and definitely broke a few girls' hearts along the way, I think. And just the immersion, I think, and the exposure to a lot of activity. They have something on every day. It's really high energy. It's fantastic. Like, you go in, you drop off, and the energy in the room is it's such fun for the kids. It's great.
I mean, you've detailed so well how transformative and positive the impact of Clare Crusaders has been, so it is entirely understandable why you would look to, I suppose, return a bit of a favour in kind, which is why you undertook the cycle. Tell us more about the cycle, the journey, the route you took, how far you travelled, and how difficult it was. I don't know how regular a cyclist you are, Sue.
So I'm not a regular cyclist at all. I aspire to be, and I've done a little bit in the past, but not much. I might have done maybe 5 sportifs over my whole life.
Okay, well, I can tell that's 5 more than some of us, and I'm not thinking of anyone in particular, me, have done, so fair play to you.
Yeah, so I hadn't done any cycling in about 10 years, and I just did the odd sock cycle for Down Syndrome Clare, which was organised in Shannon there in March, and really enjoyed it, and kind of realised I want to get back into this, and saw that the Clare Crusaders had sent out a message just saying that they were doing the 3-day event, and I said I'm going to do that. So I say now the guys, the regular cyclists in the Clare Crusaders are probably thinking I was half cracked, because I only turned up about a month ago or 6 weeks ago, and just went hell for leather. And I have to say they were just tremendous support, a really, really bunch of amazing people who are, you know, doing this long time and raising continuously, I suppose, for the clinic.
Okay, so you turn up a month, 6 weeks beforehand, and it sounds like their eyes are like saucers going, what's going on here? So why were they so surprised? How significant a cycle was this? How tough was the route?
Oh, it was tough. We did 400 kilometres altogether.
400?
400, yeah. By the time we made it back to Bearfield yesterday evening, it was 400 on the clock. So we started from Bearfield on Friday morning at 9 o'clock. We went through the old roads into Limerick, through to Cahir, and we spent the first night in Cahir, and then head out on Saturday morning to Tralee across North Cork, and on yesterday morning we left Tralee at 9 o'clock and came back to Bearfield via the Killimer ferry.
Wow. You knew it was 400 kilometres before you left it till a month or so beforehand.
I didn't actually know it was 400.
Right, okay.
And I'm glad I didn't ask the question beforehand, or didn't look at any of the emails. I'd say
there was a giant gulp when they told you, though. What have I let myself in for?
I actually didn't know until we pulled into Bearfield yesterday evening, actually, that it was 400. Right. And to be honest, I was head down on a mission. And
better off not knowing.
Yeah. So as one of our team members, Marie Fennessy, who's done every one of the tours, actually, which I think is about 10 in total, as she'd say, mighty banter and crack makes the miles go faster.
Yeah, definitely. It takes your mind off the task at hand. And was it tough at any point, Sue? Was it really enjoyable? I mean, the weather was decent over the weekend. That had to have helped.
Absolutely, we were blessed with the weather. Like, we woke up on Friday morning going, looking out the window at the
Somebody
pouring
up there
rain.
Loves us.
No, it was pouring rain on Friday morning. It was not looking good. But by the time we left at the clinic, the sun was out, and it followed us the whole way for the 3 days. So that definitely helped hugely. Honestly, Alan, the team members really, really carried me along, and a lot of, very experienced cyclists there who were minding me all the way, and minding all of us. Like, they really took care of us, and we were very fortunate as well to have we had 6 members from the Dolman cycling group with us, and one of those members, Niall O'Connor, was excellent in organising various members of An Garda Síochána to provide escort at key locations. So I suppose places like Limerick City, which would have been very difficult to negotiate without that, and Tip Town, and a number of the towns and villages that we would have passed through. So that was a huge, huge support to us. And we also had an amazing marshal, Ken, as well, just to ensure the safety throughout the day, throughout the 3 days. I suppose there is that. It's all great fun. It's great to be doing it. Of course, it's hard at times, but I suppose there's that safety aspect as well, which is very important.
Sure,
yeah.
I'm glad that was covered. And look, hopefully plenty of money was raised to help Clare Crusaders continue to do what it does. Are you going to keep up this newfound love for cycling now, Sue? Or?
Yeah, no, definitely. If they'll have me, I'm hoping to continue getting out for regular cycles with the group. And I know it's early days now to be talking about another tour, but I think I'd be one of the first to sign up if I can manage it.
Okay, well, look, delighted you've discovered or rediscovered a new pastime, and all the best to you and to Conor as well going forward. Sue Corcoran, thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you, Alan.